Super excited to visit with another funny comedian that's going to be joining us at the Sno Jam Comedy Festival coming up in January here. And I've got David Schendlinger joining me. And I met David at the event last year. David, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic. And you've done this before, so you know what to expect. Are you excited to come back to Sioux Falls?
Very much so.
And for people who have not yet had a chance to make it to Sno Jam, how would you describe this event to somebody that's never been to it before?
Well, it's a whole bunch of comics being very funny, and doing performances in a couple of nice venues, and really just a good time to be had.
And one of the things that I think is cool, there's stand-up comedy, which is great because a lot of very funny comics. But in addition to that, there's usually some other fun things that you kind of get thrown into where you're not necessarily prepared ahead of time. It just kind of happens. And there's some magic that happens when you do that, isn't there?
Yeah. It's really fun. I don't consider myself one of the most spontaneous people in the world, so it was interesting to get tossed into a little experience like that and see what happens, see if I can survive.
And you did phenomenally well. And again, I think that's one of the fun things to watch is some very smart, very witty, and also I would say some very nice, kind people. They're all paying their way to come here to help raise money for a nonprofit, which is amazing. But to see these amazing people kind of think on their feet is, I think, really cool because you have this skill set where when you get up and have all these jokes memorized and all these stories memorized, that's one thing. But to be able to think on your feet like that, and I don't know if you'd call it playing a game or what you'd call that exactly, but it's just fun to watch.
Oh yeah, it's interesting to do. Usually my experience with improv is that somebody throws something at me, and I have to say, I'll have something funny to say about that next Tuesday.
I love it. Well, the nice thing is, again, Sno Jam Comedy Festival, January 19th, 20th, and 21st, and there's something for everybody. We've got 30 comics coming from all over the country. And where is it that you live, sir?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin.
So you are also used to this cold weather, and you guys get more than your fair share of snow there as well, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that we have had our big winter storm for the year.
Yeah, me too. It'd be really, really nice if it was warm during Sno Jam, but I doubt it's going to be warm. But again, middle of January, don't typically get warm. But it's really fun for me to see some of the comics that come up from, California and come up from Florida, and they're trying to figure out why we even live in a place like this. That's kind of fun as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how whether they have figured out how to dress for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fun as well. Now, how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
I was trying to figure that out. I think it's about 44 years.
And what was it when you very first got involved? Was there something that kind of drew you to this?
No, I was doing actually a little theater thing, a show of sketches, and I got roped into doing an opening monologue for our show. And right about then, a comedy club opened in town. This was in Vancouver, Canada. And so I just decided to go there and, try out the little thing that I had written. And it worked pretty well. So I'm pretty well convinced that if it had not worked well that first time, I never would have done it again.
I'm really glad that it worked well because it's been an honor to get to know you. And again, very, very funny guy. And I'm excited to have you back in Sioux Falls, Sno Jam Comedy Festival, January 19th, 20th, and 21st. And for folks that maybe have not had a chance to see you, how would you describe your style of comedy, David?
Well, it's pretty low key. I sometimes get into talking about some current events or things that are happening. Yeah, it's pretty low key. Not totally deadpan like a Stephen Wright, but in that vein, I think.
And again, I would say very, very funny as well. David, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks. It's good talking to you.
Absolutely. Again, David Schendlinger, one of the 30 comics that you'll see on stage in Sioux Falls at Sno Jam Comedy Festival, January 19, 20, and 21. You can get your tickets right now at snojamcomedyfest.com. And I want to remind you, there's no W on this snow. It's SNO. So snojamcomedyfest.com. snojamcomedy.com.